Today on Call the Midwife After Show, the nuns come across a bad case of moral insanity brought on by Caribbean kisses, and the symptoms include fever, impure thoughts, and severe bodice ripping. All that and more in just a minute.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us in the studio. I'm John Comerford, joined by Tamara Berg.
Hi, everybody.
And not joined by Courtney Stewart, who is off visiting. She's with family this week, so we wish her well. So we are a midwife down.
We are, and I have a cold, so...
You have a cold. I'm noteless, so...
You don't have your notes. It's going to be something... and there's no liquor involved in this one.
We are battling. We will soldier on.
Yes, we will.
Okay, now soldiering on. This whole episode was about fresh starts, written by
Clean
Louise
slates.
Ironside, who did a fabulous job. What I really enjoyed about it, this was wonderfully intricately interwoven. Even from the get-go, we see... the Irish family, the Davidsons, driving into town. They splash the water on Elizabeth. So even the stories are kind of intertwined. And Barbara's was woven in nicely and all this other stuff. So that was one. And, we also had a classic Call the Midwife montage. So that was kind of fun, too.
Yes, we haven't had one in a little while with the dance music.
Yeah. So we had a lot of fun stuff. And this one had me crying. This one had me laughing like crazy.
Oh, my gosh. You had to go back a couple of times and rewatch some of the funnier things.
I did, because I truly enjoyed them. So.
And I believe I wiped a tear of yours off of the table. I'm just saying.
I have hay fever.
Not as cold-hearted as some of us think.
No, don't ruin my reputation.
Your super manly reputation.
All right, so I wanted to start off with Valerie and Lucy and the what was it? The three P's?
Puberty, periods, and pawns.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clearing up the pawns, because I had to ask pawns. What?
Right. So, and I just want to make sure. I thought it was Pond's, like Pond's cold cream.
Yeah, it's not.
But BBC tweeted it was something else, like Pons, P-O-N-S, but I don't really even know what that is. Okay. So
maybe we can get
that's what I'm going with. I'm going with Pons the cold cream, because right afterwards she said,
yeah, personal hygiene.
Personal hygiene, exactly.
Right,
so that's what I'm going with.
All right, but
or maybe it's puberty, periods, and Pons as in tampons.
Oh,
maybe
could be. That sounds much more likely.
I think that sounds very well. Yeah, I guess maybe it is, considering that maybe so. Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me something.
Yeah, although they weren't very couchy with everything else.
No, they sure weren't. No, they weren't. But maybe it is Pons. Well, I mean, BBC One is probably in the know, more in the know than I am on
that one.
So we'll say that.
Yeah, but any one of them works. So let's we can run with any of them.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that Lucille would have her what's the word?
Propriety issues,
the sense of propriety, and it's like, why isn't their mother teaching them this? And
right, yeah. So definitely they should be learning this at home, and
I thought I'll reveal it. Your reaction to when she says tampons, and she says, for an unmarried woman.
For an unmarried girls?
Yes.
Good heavens!
Yeah, the shock of it. It's kind of like lost on me, but
those we're going to talk about this. I really wish Courtney were here for this one, because
this
we could be getting into it.
Right, because I can't help you here.
Right. So the sanitary belt.
Yeah.
And the moments where Lucille and Val were talking about, like in class, doing
with the diagrams,
Lucille
or whatever,
holding up
the sanitary belt,
the item.
Yeah, the item in question, the sanitary belt.
Holding it up, making sure everyone knows exactly how that works. And Val going, there's another option.
Yeah.
And then Lucy, but seriously, you could still use this. That whole conversation about going swimming and, you can't use them if you're swimming or if you're going to the beach. But there aren't that many days that are sunny that are going to the beach. And then Val, like a shot, wouldn't it be a bummer if the one day that it's sunny and you're going to the beach is an unfortunate day, Lucy? Let's talk about that.
That was nice that they had that interplay between them.
Funny.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah. So I was just struck by how that she was so put off by it in a sense. Yeah. And because I just didn't get that from her before. But
no.
They had never broached the subject or anything, so why would I know that? But it was just kind of funny because you expected to be more progressive or something, or more.
Right. Well, and the idea that you have to be married to use that.
Yeah.
Seriously? Seriously?
Yeah, I didn't have this conversation with my mom.
No, I wouldn't think you would.
Exactly. So,
No, I don't think so.
so yeah, I forgot that Courtney wasn't going to be here, so I thought this would be great. You guys chat, and I'll
that's
just get to listen.
awesome. Yeah, you can sit and listen. No, sorry.
But,
you and I get to talk about it.
It was interesting. The belt. So how did those work, Tamara? How did you?
Anyway, dispelling the myths of sex and the girl. Oh, the other thing that I thought was interesting about this class was that it was about your body and relationships. That was the other subtitle.
That's right.
And relationships,
yes.
Which
really
because that's the implication is and sex.
Sure.
But and then they had to be 16 to go because this is NSFW conversation, so to speak. And they had to have permission slips.
Of course, as they should. They're not adults yet.
Right.
Absolutely.
So so all very interesting. Elizabeth comes in and
wants to go. She just wants to get out of the house, right?
Yeah.
Because she's been pulled back from doing everything, and mom's get there over her shoulder on everything. I was like
that was seconds later.
Yeah, and again, that was when they do it well. It was wonderfully laid in. It's like, why is she?
Was super overprotective.
Talk about a helicopter parent.
Right. My first thought was, is there something wrong with her? Like, is she? Does Elizabeth have? Does she have a disease? Does she have a heart valve and mom has to watch her or something?
Or she just not good in crowds. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And
of course she has a heart valve. I meant heart valve issue. Whatever.
Murmur.
Don't even.
I understand.
I know you do. They don't.
But the whole I also liked the gals in there when they're passing the tampon around. They're giggling and stuff like that.
As girls do.
Yeah, as you would.
As grown adults do.
Yeah.
Courtney and I would be. I don't know if
but
everybody remembers last week we were talking about hormones and ovulating and giggling. So.
Val chastising him, knuckle down.
Yes, exactly.
But then it came out of the blue because mom, obviously, for whatever reason, Elizabeth is late. And I also liked that she lied the first time.
Yeah, exactly.
Being about ping pong.
Yeah.
Which I'm going, wait, is that part of the 3 Ps? How does this
work?
Is that
right? Is that code for something?
Exactly. So she's lying to her mom just to go to this class, and I go, that's interesting. What's that about?
Yeah.
And of course, we find out that mom doesn't like any of this, and she's freaked out. And she goes inside, she sees what they're doing, she sees the diagram, and then the diagram is like, and that was a wonderful question by, I think, in the audience, woman who says one way to avoid getting pregnant is to just pee afterwards, and that takes care of everything.
Right, yes, yes.
So you can see the reason for the need for this kind of class.
Indeed.
Yeah,
but yeah, mom finds out she's taking a class on, quote, filth.
Yeah. Which is not, that still happens here in this country.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like you shouldn't be. And I also like the way, because this is the same argument, we're still having it. It's like, well, some parents are afraid to have this conversation and they'd rather us have to deal with the embarrassment.
Yep.
And I'm going, where else, who else is going to fall to? Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
So it's, anyway.
Yeah.
So she freaks out, and we, of course, obviously there's something way out of proportion here, so we know something's going bad. We just don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, she complains to the city council and says they're teaching our children smut, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, this can't go on. We need to do something about it. The class needs to be canceled.
And Sister Julian gets an earful of this.
Okay. So my first criticism.
You don't like this.
Right?
Yeah.
You ready?
All right.
Sister Julian, clearly, or not clearly, but I assume just hung up the phone from someone at the town council, the alderman, whatever, whatever you Brits call those people, and said, we've heard some bad things about you, and that you're teaching material of an indelicate matter, right? So since when has Sister Julian not been on the side of the midwives? I throw the flag.
Yeah, didn't work for you.
I don't know if you guys know that reference, but I throw the flag. I do this in a lot of my podcasts. I throw the flag because I thought, no, that seemed out of character for her.
Well, yeah, usually we find her, she might bring something up, but she'd allow them a chance to explain.
Yes.
She didn't seem like she allowed them a chance to explain. But again, it came right off of, she just got an earful from somebody, and I'm sure they dressed her down or whatever it is that they did.
Maybe I just didn't support that.
You didn't support that choice?
That story
Okay.
choice.
All right, fair enough. But regardless, he decides, okay, that's it, we're canceled, and I'm pending further investigation. I'm going, wow, did they just take that right out of all the pending investigations we're having with Me Too and everything like that?
Right?
Boom,
Pending
canceled.
investigations.
Yeah. So,
and she says, I suggest a visit to Mrs. Walker and a fulsome apology.
fulsome apology, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it sounds bad.
Big.
Yeah.
Big apology.
All right. Yeah, and that's gonna happen. Now, and they got dressed down, and Valerie started to stand up for it, but she backed down pretty quickly. I guess she was, oh well, there's nothing we can do about that.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, how they're pretty used to giving apologies. These ladies.
Yeah, but
and swallowing their pride.
They realize it's needed. They know they need it. Clearly, it's needed because they can tell just by the questions they're getting, and it's like, what? Why is this such a big deal?
Yeah.
But it's the same. I love how it's reflecting. We still have that.
Of course we do.
It's crazy.
Of course we do.
Crazy.
Thank you, Caroline. Right. So they visit her, and Mrs. Walker says, "Precocious knowledge ruins lives." Right. So clearly
Garden of Eden
there's
stuff.
Yeah, Lady Garden of Eden. Oh, I almost got a
Not
spit
fair.
take.
Not
Almost
fair.
got a spit take.
I was drinking at the time.
I was.
That's not fair.
So we find out that there's something there.
Yeah.
There's something going on with Mrs. Walker.
We just know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then very quickly the classes resume.
Yeah. Because they got letters of support.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Nice. We had to advance this plot. Let's move on.
Exactly. But Mrs. Walker is still hell bent on shutting it down.
They bring everybody
right?
back. The gals come in. They all sign they all have their slips signed or whatever.
That
so
Val
they get
double checks
permission.
them.
Absolutely. But and then there's the confrontation with Mrs. Walker deciding, no, this. Not only do I want you to stop, I want this ban from the boroughs and the whole thing, and I'm gonna literally stop it.
Yes.
Yeah. So we had a nice confrontation, and even then, go ahead.
No.
She's just so reluctant to give up the ghost about what the history is and why she's so hell bent on keeping her daughter safe.
Well, and we later learn, because it's a 20-plus year history that she's been holding on to.
That's a lot of baggage hanging on to. And,
Yeah.
and putting that all on your daughter. She even says later, my daughter's a lot like you.
Right.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
That's a big.
yeah, so we learned that, her older sister, way back in the day, apparently
Was friendly.
but shall we say, had conversations with gentlemen. Not
Yes.
gentlemen, but okay. So anyway,
With the boys.
and then she was taken away, and as far as she knew, she was taken away because
to a reform school.
yeah, to a farm school because obviously she was acting out and getting into trouble and all kinds of things, and that's all she knows. In fact, they didn't even tell her even when she was old enough to know. And I'm thinking, yeah, again, these classic secrets that go on forever and have such repercussions. So right then I start, okay, then you finally start to get the turn for her because you start to you feel sorry for her. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she
so,
does have,
yeah, you see the
in
pain.
her mind, she has good reason. She's protecting her child. She doesn't want to have her taken from her, essentially, like her sister was,
and
right?
doesn't want her daughter getting in any trouble.
Yeah.
She's trying to avoid all that pain that her sister got in. So, and you go, okay, but now comes the healing. We got to figure out how to get these two people together. And then she writes the letter to Val and
And drops it off at Nonnatus.
yeah, which, it's kind of nice. And the next thing we do, we see them smoking cigarettes together. And I'm going, isn't this the kind of trouble they were trying to avoid?
Right.
Smoking
Ladies
cigarettes.
smoking cigarettes.
That's right. This is just wrong.
Having frank conversations. that leads to no
That's
good.
right. I have expected the belt to come back out. All right. So, and then they decide to go find her.
Right. So,
And then
Lark Hill,
Lark
which was, in her
Mental
mind,
science, yeah.
a reform
Reform
school.
school.
And
Yeah.
Val goes, I think it's actually a mental institution over in Bermondsey, which I'm familiar with because of the market. It's got my favorite market over there in Bermondsey.
Okay.
But yeah, not not the nicest neighborhood.
Right. Well,
It's on the other side of the river, if you know
regardless,
what I mean.
it's at an asylum, wherever it is. So
Right,
in their minds,
exactly.
that's, And I was just thinking about it, and I go, geez. So this is what you're told as a kid. Of course, your mind has built up whatever because you don't really know the truth. Your parents have never told you, and all you can think of is what has befallen her.
Yeah.
So much so that she didn't want to find her sister and
Right.
just held it back, and then had all the other consternation involved. And then we learned later about the husband. It's like, oh my.
Right. So
God,
when
just
we
layering it on.
finally get over to the hospital, she finds Lily.
Or who she thinks is first.
Well, she doesn't recognize her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and then
how-
she finds her.
Which I thought was a nice little moment
Yeah.
because, all she knew of her was that,
She liked
she
to
was just to
dance.
dance, and then obviously that's her. No, not at all.
Over here.
That's
There's your sister. Over here.
Exactly. And I bought it too. So.
Right. And she had been admitted in 1938.
Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, and we're in '63.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's been there a really long time. And why was she admitted?
Moral insanity.
Moral insanity.
Which I thought was a great. I had never heard that term. Have you ever come across
We
that?
call it sexual addiction in celebrity rehab these days.
No,
That's
I don't
what
even know
Dr.
if-
Drew calls
but,
it.
But it isn't even that. I mean, we didn't get the full story, so we
No,
don't
no,
know.
no,
But
no,
it
no.
seems like she was, I don't know, curious or adventurous. Who
Right.
knows, whatever it was. But they just labeled the whole
Yep.
moral insanity.
Yeah.
And hauled her off.
Yeah.
And the baby, sorry, no, it's going for adoption. The whole thing, and close her up, lock her away, and
Yeah, so the real tragedy of this is she was a normal,
Right.
probably
yeah.
teenager
Yeah.
who got pregnant, got taken to a mental institution for the reasons of being out of the norm and unacceptable to society as far as her, activities were. But then when they took away her baby, then she became crazy.
Yeah, that's just. I thought that was nice. A nice point they made. How they made it too.
That innocent person wrongly accused thing for me. It makes me crazy.
And she just. I mean, I thought this was wonderfully acted. That she looked vacant and hollow and dead inside, and the whole thing.
Yes.
And I thought when she was showing her the photos, and there was some glimmer of recognition and stuff about her childhood and who she was and all this other.
Yeah.
That you could see that, but you could also see all the layers and years of not. And
I'm so glad you said that because I was sitting there thinking the same thing. We haven't talked about this at all since we watched it. And just thinking about the decades and decades of being in this environment, having growing up in this
what was she,
institution.
15, 17, whatever
15,
it was?
they
Yeah,
said.
15, yeah. So now
15.
25 years later, jeez.
Yeah, so growing up, spending her entire life, adult life,
And having your baby
young
taken
adult
away.
life, taking her baby away, and so all of the trauma that just continues to come onto that every single day.
And none of your family coming to see
No.
you, find you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you get over that?
And how do you not get crazy?
No, yeah, of course
I
you're
mean,
going to be crazy.
forget it. She's
Of course.
Yeah. It was not. They made a great point later with Val and Lucy when they're talking together and how just before that when the sisters are talking and Mrs. Walker's telling about her family and she does her husband's not in the picture anymore. They're incompatible. He wanted to be close but she couldn't and because she had learned.
Right, if you are close in that way.
If you like it.
Yes, if you like it.
Girls get into trouble.
Yeah.
Which is another. Yeah, keep teaching those classes. That's again another class.
Sure.
Exactly.
Equally tragic in a different way.
Yeah, and then they make the point. One was damned for doing, one was damned for not doing, and it's like, yeah, that's right. You don't have very many options. So,
Girl power.
glad to be a woman.
Yeah. I enjoy being a girl.
So,
Thank you.
And we at least got to see the end, and this was great because the way they did the fresh start thing. So we get to see their fresh start, meaning between Mrs. Walker and her daughter Elizabeth. She's Mrs. Walker's packing up the care package,
Yes.
soap, and which I thought was a callback to the Ponds thing, but now maybe P was Ponds for different Ponds, but you know what I mean?
We don't know.
Yeah. And she says, maybe you could give her a note, tell her what you're doing. I'm not doing anything.
I'm not doing anything, Mom. I swear to God, I'm not doing anything.
You barely let me out of the house.
Really?
Yeah.
Not doing
Yeah, exactly.
anything.
And we see that glimmer that, well, maybe there's a fresh start here. It's like that was tied in nicely.
Yeah.
And I thought they tied in the fresh start everywhere nicely, which we'll go to. But, they had her fresh start. We had the Davidsons with their fresh start, a whole new town,
Right.
life.
Also, just on that last story, Lucy saying, "I'm sorry, I doubted you."
Yeah.
To Val about.
And she had her fresh start because
Exactly.
she started looking at it anew.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she wasn't completely given over to it, but she started saying, "Well, I have food for thought and all that other stuff." So we got to see fresh starts everywhere in their own little ways.
The one thing I wanted to just discuss, and I know sometimes there's a little bit of that. They tie things up very neatly in this show. As I was watching, I was thinking, are they going to tie this story up with Lily? Like, is Lily going to get out of the loony bin? But if she does, you've lived your entire life there, more than half of your life.
Institutionalized at this point.
And how do can you? And they didn't tie it up. They
No,
left it
and the other-
hanging, and I think that's a good
Absolutely,
choice.
because first of all, you couldn't. There's not enough time. But secondly, there's
there was
so
time.
much to unpack.
They could have cut a couple of.
Well, but not only is she institutionalized, but there's a child involved, and where's that, and how does that reconcile?
Well, that's actually what
Yeah,
you
that's
mean.
not
You
gonna-
mean Lily's baby?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's
No,
the
I know.
whole
I was
thing.
kind
You
of thinking
can't-
about that as
Yeah,
well.
there's no way. And just to unpack the mother-daughter relationship between Elizabeth and Mrs. Walker, that's not gonna fix overnight.
Yeah.
That's whatever 15 years of her training. That's gonna,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this woman's 40 now.
Right. So.
Yeah, 40-ish, 40-something. Yeah. All right, who we got next?
We're gonna go to the Davidson
Oh,
family.
the Davidsons.
The Irish family coming into town, and
Terry and Pearl.
yes, and the kids.
And they're cute
And the
kids.
pregnant. It's like, hey, and we get to see the idyllic thing. They're starting a new business, a whole new life.
Dun, 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 dun.
And the shop looked pretty good.
Looked fantastic.
I didn't know what was called a news agent.
Yeah.
I assume this is
Kind of a convenience store.
convenience store. Sure,
Yeah.
I just hadn't heard the term because
Yeah.
we don't have that term here. But
No.
yeah.
You haven't been to Europe lately.
No, I haven't. I haven't been. And it was Fred's coming by. That was a nice beat.
Yeah.
Again, wonderfully interwoven because we know his backstory, but sometimes you forget, and then
Yeah.
it was a nice way to bring that back, and you could see the compassion that he has and the understanding.
Right. Well, and before that, or like in that moment,
Right.
as Terry Davidson is saying, Fred goes, "I hear an Irish accent,"
Right.
and he's like, "What of it, man?"
Yeah, he's there already. He's like, "Is it gonna be a problem?" Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Northern
So
Ireland. So yeah.
what was he? Pecking a fight.
Yeah. He's
Right.
pecking, looking to fight, or pecking to fight.
Pecking to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Fred's like, "Whoa, dude," Yeah. So moved to London, newsagent shop, fresh start,
Right.
clean page, driven snow, and whatever.
Yeah.
And then Dad.
yeah, right off the top, I was going,
Whoa.
okay.
Not letting us get complacent
Yeah,
at all.
We're gonna go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then and then again, this is why I like this show and many when they use the cinematic. The priest comes in, sorry, the vicar comes in with the cop, and we want to talk about we're calling here to inquire about Terry or whatever the line is, and all you have to do is the cop has to take
Takes
his
off
hat.
his hat.
And then you just
Oh.
it's devastating, right?
Right.
For the family,
Right.
you just look on her face and everything. It was just. Okay, here we go. And she's already got 2 kids. She's already pregnant. She's she's got nothing. She's got no
Right.
foundation. I mean,
Right.
she has this place. How she can take care of it and take care of the kids at the same time? She's got no help.
Right.
They're there alone.
Right.
And they've left wherever it was, and they can't go back. That's what
Nope.
and I think they did a good job making that clear.
Right.
They got bupkis.
Nothing to go back
Yeah.
to. Right.
It just gets worse because you learn, of course, later.
So wait, the moment that Fred, so the a couple days go by,
Right.
and the funeral is happening.
Yeah, and Fred.
So Fred
comes by.
arrives and he offers help.
Yeah,
and
but he says I didn't see the notice and there
Yeah.
wasn't any. So and he just
I loved that scene between
Yeah.
the two of them.
Yeah.
Because he said, I can go change.
Right. Yeah, I'll go and.
I got it, and she's like, no,
Yeah.
family,
Prideful.
that's it.
Right.
But his comeback of I've been in your shoes,
Mm-hmm.
that was the moment that I was like,
Yeah. Here it goes.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
and
it
wonderfully
was
laid in, yeah.
because it was that's different than I will help in any way. I mean, that's like I get you. I really do understand the pain that you're going through right now, and that just kind of pierced right through for me. And I loved that moment. I thought that was great. I can manage perfectly well on my own.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
I'm going to go take my pregnancy and my kids to a funeral
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And it just progressing in the storyline. Obviously, Dr. Turner, we learn more that she doesn't have any help and
Yeah.
nowhere to go, nowhere to turn.
Yeah.
And then at some point.
That baby's big and active.
Yeah, that's right. That was nice. And by the way, there's no egress. We can't get out of the windows
Oh, yeah.
because of the bars.
6 inches
Yeah.
here, bars here. FYI. And I've got dirty curtains.
Yeah.
But the rest
Okay,
of the
but
place
did you notice
is
that in the
spotless.
beginning when they were saying it? Because I thought for me, they covered that pretty well with just because you don't have to have the
No,
place set
no,
up.
not at all. I
Yeah.
did not see it as foreshadowing
didn't
in
see
any
it
way.
either.
I missed it.
'Cause
Yeah.
it was the
When
whole
I watched
thing
it the
about,
second time, I was
is
like,
the place ready for a home birth? And is it spotless? And that kind
Yep.
of stuff was good. Yeah.
Yep.
And then when I thought it was nice that they took the time to have Barbara have a moment with Phyllis. Because they used to be roommates, and now she's back in town and everything, and they went to the Spanish thing together, and the guy, her admirer with the lazy eye.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Oh, come on. He was looking at you, honey. Lazy eye.
Well, I don't know, one of them wasn't so lazy.
Oh my God.
But yeah. So, of course, they come across the fire, and it's Phyllis that does all the heroic work. Yeah.
Okay, real quickly before that, the boxes. You know, when we're talking about the apartment, the boxes, and Barbara going, "Oh yeah, yeah."
Yeah,
I just
she
put my
steps
foot
in
in.
it with the boxes.
Then she says, "You know, you're very brave," or he made me feel brave, right? And
they always
then
had a plan. And all that.
and then Pearl says, "But I'm not brave, not anymore, and I hate him for it, and I hate that I hate him because I have loved him for my whole life."
Yeah, that was a killer for me.
So yeah,
No,
that was hard.
Yeah, that one did it for me.
That was really hard because
'Cause
you really see like there's
Yeah.
no way out. Oh, but wait, there's more.
Yeah, and just the part that she hates herself for hating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really
it's
human
common.
reaction, and
It was devastating to hear.
really, you're down. Let's kick you. Shall we? Let's catch the place on fire, shall we?
That's pretty much this episode. You have a wound? Here's some salt.
Here's some salt. Are you hurting?
Oh goodness! But we
hope you
got
hurt
to
some
see
more.
Phyllis. We got to see her be the hero, and
Yeah, it's on
get the
fire.
kid
She
out.
goes in, and something falls in front. Now we knew
the
this was
ladder.
happening because we saw it in the coming
out
outs last
but we
week.
just didn't know what it was all about. And
Yeah,
everything like that,
and
so-
people were saying, "Don't you?" Courtney said,
Yeah,
"Don't you
don't-
mess with Phyllis.
That's right. Yeah.
Don't you dare."
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Thank you for remembering.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but I have to say, it was like what? It seemed like I think the firemen were a little too.
They were kind of leisurely.
Well, I think that we've
Lackadaisical.
seen this thing before. We've got this handled, but I was like, where's the urgency in there? Kind of like.
Yeah, we know you've seen a fire, but do you know that there's a
Yeah.
woman in there?
Yeah, but how about the special effects? Huh? We don't always get them.
No, I know. I was thinking the
Yeah,
same thing. I was
nice.
like, oh, look at that, real
Yeah,
flames.
it's like the explosion we had a couple of series ago. Yeah, it was nice, right? All right, so they're doing their day.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah, but they were like, dum
Yeah.
dum with the hose. Dum.
Apparently, they didn't know Phyllis as well as we do. Otherwise, they would have been in there.
Exactly.
That's right. So, and then I liked Barbara coming home to Tom. And Tom's like just sitting waiting. It seems like,
honey.
It's,
You're home.
Yeah, yeah, and like, look who followed me home.
We have guests.
Oh goodness.
We have a guest who's going into labor.
Yeah, there we go. But what that's no better place to go into labor than a
At
midwife's
a house.
right?
And,
And across the street from Nonnatus.
the fact that she's been through a trauma may
Yeah.
have had something to do with the fact
Sure.
that things got moving
Oh,
quickly.
wow, I didn't think about that. Yeah. So, and of course, then we get to the birth, and we go
Sorry.
through that ordeal. We get to experience another one, which seems pretty, it's like run of the mill, kind of. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Although, all the talking in between was heartfelt and stuff. We get that, but then of course we realize why they were so active in there because we're not
Yeah.
done with one.
Oh, look.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Again, part of this episode. Another fresh start. We're having a second one.
Yeah. Let's see what other burdens you can carry.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. And then when she said that to her, we're not done. There's another. And the look on
Oh, yes.
on Pearl's face was amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree. That actress did a brilliant job with that
Oh, my
moment.
God.
It was a brilliant, like just
Yeah.
the briefest little like flash that went over her
Yeah, like,
face.
oh my God, you're kidding me.
It was
All the
so
dread and,
brilliant,
yeah.
though. Kudos to her.
Yeah, and in that moment, I'm going, oh my God, that's right. First of all, it's not bad enough, but it's difficult enough.
Challenging.
Yeah,
sure.
challenging. I have the 2 kids, no husband, and all the other stuff that comes with. Now you've got twins.
Yes.
Yeah, and so the idea that would be a good thing at that moment was just
Yeah, and she
not
says,
encouraged.
"I'm too tired. I can't do it again." Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, your body's gonna know how to do
You
it.
don't have a choice.
Too bad. Yeah, it's like,
And then after she has the second kid, and then we had the born in the sack in the
right. Yeah, I don't remember
born
seeing
in the
that
sack.
before.
I don't know if that's the right term.
Yeah, no,
but,
I don't think that's what it said.
But
yeah.
so born in his waters.
Yes. Yeah.
As
Is that what they said?
Barbara
Is that
said.
how they
That's
said
what
it?
Barbara said,
Okay.
yeah. So then we
a
had
deluge there. Though.
another deluge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
miracle of birth. And then that baby comes out, and they hand her both of the babies, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
She's
didn't
too-
she just say she was tired? You're making her hold both
Yeah.
babies?
I'm going, what is that a metaphor? She's carrying so much. Do you have to right then? Yeah. But it made for a good picture. Nice tableau.
Oh my God. Okay,
Right.
the second baby was a prosthetic covered in sausage skin, according to our secret agent in London.
Wow. Okay.
There you go.
That is some good intel.
Thank you.
Nice recon. Way
Thank
to
you
go.
for that. Yes.
That's great. I'm still working on the sausage thing. Where do they get that? Is that is that from craft services, or do they have to send
good
out
question.
for
I'm
that?
pretty
How
sure they
does
go
that-
to the
yeah.
butcher
Okay.
for that. Yeah.
I'm just curious.
So then Fred comes and says the damage from the fire was extensive, and
Yep.
that the ground floor has to be gutted.
Gutted. But insurance will figure it out.
Yeah, insurance will take care of it. No
And
problem.
don't you just know, as soon as he said insurance, I'm going,
Oh,
jeez.
no.
Yeah. They didn't get around to that. Yeah. But again, this was great because I liked how they laid in Fred's story, because it was just in a look and a sentence here or there, and then you had to remember. And even if you didn't know, you got it on his face when he said, I've been there.
Yeah.
You knew that he was going to have to step, because he's away at the war when his wife dies, so his kids are taken care of by the neighborhood.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And extended family and stuff like that. So he not only does he know what it's like,
Yeah.
he knows what everybody did for him. So this is his opportunity to make that right, to give back.
Right, exactly. To give back.
Yeah, and pay that forward and stuff like that. So that was, I thought that was great, of course. And then we got the nice montage with everybody putting the thing back and everything. That was kind of fun.
Painting a fence.
Yeah, it was great. And then Barbara saying, "Look, let's get you home," and we had that nice moment and everything. And that wasn't the end of it.
Get you 3 home, because the
Get
2
you 3
kids
right,
are
yeah.
who
Okay,
knows where.
okay, the shot with the 2 kids, the 2 babies in the crib.
Oh my God.
And I'm normally not that, it's like, oh yeah, they're cute, but this
Jesus,
one I was like,
those were
oh,
cute
man.
babies.
Exactly.
For God's sake, those were cute babies. I don't know if they were real babies.
I don't
They
either.
looked real.
That's the thing. I don't know if
You never know anymore.
Thank you for telling us that one was a prosthetic, but in a couple of shots, I can't tell anymore. I think they do such a good job. I don't know
I
who's
agree.
doing that, but their work on that is amazing, and even the way they shoot them, because they're quick on them, and then
God, those babies were
they
cute.
were amazing. They were great.
I did want to
Very-
kiss their little cheeks.
That was great. So we did get them back, but I don't. Now I know that the story doesn't end there, because she wants to have the thank you,
Party, yeah.
and what was the next step? Because I'm losing my train of
Okay,
thought.
so arriving at the house, see
we
the
see all
place,
that, we get all
right?
that lovely
So
thing.
I feel like there was a missed beat there.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm talking about, because I wanted, because what happened to all that pride? I was just, and again, she's exhausted. I get all that, but we built this thing up about, because
I
usually
can
a
handle
prideful person
myself.
was like, no, this is too much. I can't.
I can
I
manage
can't
perfectly
afford this.
well.
I can't accept this and all this other stuff. And I was going, what happened?
Maybe
Did we miss a scene? Did we
maybe
miss-
life just wore her down.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe
Yeah.
it was just she was just overwhelmed with everything.
Yeah.
She's just so grateful
Yeah.
that she has a place to come home to. Maybe that was the beat that.
Yeah.
But I was wondering where they.
Or even, but see, it could have even been, you people don't even know me yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did to deserve your kindness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that. But I just felt like I wanted that beat there.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's covered in the let's have a party and I'll thank you all for what you've done for me. But she does say it was better than looks better than it ever did.
Except for one thing, because we.
Oh,
have-
right, except for the one thing.
Yeah, for the one thing, we're gonna have that.
We're gonna
the
have
plaque.
that brass plaque
The
put on.
plaque put on.
Now she has 2 sons.
Yeah, and so
a
again,
Terry Jr.
Right. And so we thought that their story was going to be the fresh start of moving to Poplar and being the whole family. And really, the fresh start is now we have to do start anew.
A brand new.
And
It's a brand new
exactly.
reality, so to speak.
Whereas before in Ireland, they didn't have a support system, which is why they had nothing to go back to. And here you can see that there's maybe a community that embrace them, and that they do have that here.
I was reading some tweets. By the way, if people are watching, BBC One puts out some pretty great tweets about Call the Midwife. So I enjoy what they. I think I retweeted one of them, but if you want to get a chance to look at them, they're pretty fun. But several people mentioned on Twitter how they really loved the portrayal of a community.
Yeah.
And that's what Poplar has always been.
Yeah,
I mean,
so,
that is
yeah.
definitely a foundation of this show. But again, it was just nice to see that being there again and people being there for each other. And it's in
Especially
a way
when
that.
the chips are down, you always see that happen.
And it's something that we don't often see nowadays. So,
But they have a great balance too, because you also see all the other parts of the community where you see
Problems
Well,
and-
yeah, we had last week with them pushing the our stowaway and everybody the
Right.
pitchforks and getting them out.
Yes.
Yeah, you also see that side of it. So
Yeah.
it's great balance. I think it's very full.
Yep. So Tom goes to the party but leaves Barbara at home.
Right. Because Barbara's not feeling well.
She's peaked.
Yeah, and she was doing. I liked the way they interlace this nicely, because when she comes home, this is earlier in the episode where she comes home
the opening
late.
scene, actually, I think.
Well, she comes home late and she tells Tom, I stayed too long. I'm sorry, I haven't, and he's saying, it's fine, but your shirts are wrinkly, and he goes, I just put a coat over it, and he goes, yeah, but everybody's going to think I'm a bad wife.
That puts me in a bad light.
Right, and this is kind of going to her fresh start, because the thing in Birmingham is over. We're back now. We have a whole fresh start here. And Birmingham, sorry.
I've been corrected too many times.
I know, I'm going to get letters like crazy. Birmingham. So
where are they going to send them? To Home Depot?
I'm thinking of Alabama, Birmingham.
Yes, you are.
Birmingham. Sorry. So
so she's back in
her first. So and she's trying to do a great job making a fresh start too.
But oh no, she's not
going
to
to
have
happen
a fresh start.
because and then as soon as she falls asleep, because he's going to get the tea, and she's like, oh, you think it's she's just knackered? No, I'm going, no. And as soon as she falls asleep, I'm going, oh no, they're gonna. Oh, what are they gonna give her? What are they gonna put her in? Yeah, God. And what was the
septicemia?
Oh my God.
And
it just sounds horrible.
Well, it's sepsis of
I know.
some sort,
It just
an
sounds
infection.
horrible. It just sounds
well,
horrible.
and it looked pretty horrible.
Yeah, that did look bad. So we didn't get to full. We will know next week, of course. So that was part of the setup for next week. This looked bad. And Tom is just when he's coming back from wherever he's coming back, and
who needs me?
Yeah.
Has there been something happen? I'm ready.
So.
What do you need?
This looks bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only solace is that Heidi Thomas has said there's not going to be any main characters
I know that's
dying,
the thing I kept going.
Which is like, it's a good and bad thing. She may have been lying.
Ooh.
You never know.
Look at you.
Because they do that sometimes.
Not like misleading. She's just
right.
Right.
Or I mean, I kind of almost don't want to know. I sort of, I was sort of like, now that I know she has said we're not losing any main characters this season, I'm kind of like, well, Barbara's going to be fine, and it sort of takes away from how important this illness is, But maybe she was lying or misleading us, as John would say.
just because since we're on that storyline.
Yeah.
When you and I'm assuming that Monica Joan in the coming up when she says, "I would gladly give my life to the Lord."
Yes.
That was like,
what?
Man. Yeah, that was great though from her too. Okay, so that leads us into her storyline. So let's get into that.
Joan.
This was great. We normally get Monica Joan in bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And they're all full and great, and I love them. But this was great because we got to see this in a longer arc and everything for the whole episode.
Well, and what a great
oh my God, it was amazing.
Scene mate she had for this.
It was terrific. I mean, it couldn't be better.
Maudie Valentine.
Absolutely. And we start out with her packing, to go to the hospital.
Right. So in my family, packing to go someplace, it's how many pairs of shoes are you going to take? And
exactly.
with Sister Monica Joan, it's how many sweets can I fit in the suitcase?
Because who knows?
You need provisions.
Yeah, then who knows what's going to be there? What kind of food's going to be there?
You don't know.
That's right. Exactly.
You need to be ready.
And there's a suitcase of them. And and it was great. It was so.
And this is a week before.
Classic.
For several days
classic
anyway.
Sister Joan. Yeah. Why don't we put this away for the? Yeah. Leads her away and everything.
It's not till next week. We'll focus on some other things.
Yeah, so we can distract her, and she's going to forget about this anyway.
So then when she is going to the hospital, Barbara sees her, and Monica Joan, the planets are not well aligned.
And you can just see all the dread.
No.
Yeah, all the dread.
Yeah, she's clearly still.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
of
was
course
great
she
too
is.
because we don't want any bumps here. Let's just move this along. It's not creating more hysteria than there already is. And then you see her in the hospital. Just beside herself. Not at all ready for any of this. And she talks about solitude being great. What was it? What was the term? Solitude being great company.
I didn't write it
something
down,
like
but
that. And then boom, it's like on cue.
Boisterous was the word.
Here they come in. Very loud.
Maudie Valentine.
And that was one of the funniest scenes I've had them do with them talking about you might not remember her face. Maybe you remember her other end, and the reaction from Monica Joan was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, exactly. Oh my, yeah.
And that was for me. That was just a hysterical scene, and it set the stage for the rest of it because here, so not what Monica Joan needed or wanted at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, all she wants to do is get this over with. She doesn't want any of the hype involved. yeah, that was terrific for me, and they were great. I thought both of them were terrific. And I think was it the next time we see them, she's just trying to pray, and her
Getting
incessant
through
chatter
her,
is
right?
going-
She
yeah,
was just
exact-
trying to get through
yeah,
her
devotional.
not Stations of the Cross. I can't remember. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But
Yeah.
whatever, her routine, her
Right.
praying routine.
And
Yeah.
just the incessant chatter of everything, and and then over the course of you get to see this.
No,
go ahead.
hold.
I'm sorry.
When Albie
Right.
talks about how you're one of those Nonnatans.
Yeah.
We know all of you because you delivered
Yeah.
all of our babies. And if you don't remember Maudie's face,
I said that.
oh, you did. Sorry, I was tweeting.
I know you were tweeting.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I was trying to keep up with it.
I know,
Okay,
it's all
that was
right. It's
hilarious.
fine. It's
I'm
fine. I'm
sorry.
just letting. I didn't know how to get you out of that because I already talked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we got that. But when we got back to the prayer later and the incessant chatter and stuff like that, what I loved is that you easily these women, these actresses carried this relationship so well. You just started out. It was classic. I mean, and it worked. It all was beautiful because you could just see it moving along, progressing, and it's just reaching its peak, and then you're seeing the turn, and just the.
So Monica Joan getting out of surgery.
Oh yeah, but prior to that, when
Okay,
she doesn't
sorry.
want to go in, she's saying,
Oh, yeah,
"Don't you
yeah.
get out of here, go give me some peace." And you want
Oh,
peace
right,
now?
yes.
You want peace. But yeah, when she came out of surgery and she's back, and they have her tucked
I'm
in.
alive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm alive.
I'm alive.
Oh, is that the miracle, or is the
No,
miracle? when
the
she's-
miracle's later. I'm alive. And then Mrs. Valentine is going crazy.
Oh, at night. Oh my God, the
Yeah,
wailing.
there's nobody around.
Yeah,
They're
nobody's there.
alone.
and they can't
no one
move.
will come. They can't move. They're
and they-
strapped in, and
they
she
can't even
starts
turn to each
freaking
other.
out.
Yeah, yeah. And again, this is where we get to see Monica Joan with that compassion and
Command.
and the
too.
command. And I'm going, this command that she do.
Take custody.
Yeah, whatever the Latin term is. Oculum, custody, ocularm, whatever the heck it was. Again, I know on my
Yeah.
notes, so I can't see. I can't refer
No,
to
but
that.
your memory is
Yeah.
doing very well today.
And I'm going, wow, she
Yeah.
has the presence of mind to do that. And you realize that she, at one time in her life, she probably had a tremendous capacity and tremendous ability with her mind, and still has it to some degree here.
Yeah.
And, being able to focus what you're thinking about. And I'm going, no, I mean, clearly it's always been angst-ridden for her that she's losing her faculties, and it is for us as we're
Of
watching
course.
it. But this, to me, was a great way to express and to demonstrate what kind of mind that she did have.
Well,
be
and
able to have
yeah,
that.
and the other thing was the her ability to minister to someone.
Yes, yeah,
that
that
was.
too.
I just love that because she does the sort of giving of advice thing from
Yeah.
time to time from this sort of ethereal place, but in this it was really ministering to
it's
this
present.
woman and saying, now hang on a minute,
Yeah.
we got something we can do
The Aurora
here.
Borealis, the Zambezi. I mean, it's just, what are you thinking of? And of course,
Custard.
But again, it's cut. I love that this really serious, poignant moment's cut with custard.
Custard.
Yeah, and and then you could see Monica Joan thinking. You bring her right back to what her Achilles heel is, was the sweets, and she starts thinking of custard. And she just starts. It looks like she's watering at the mouth because of custard.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know how much she's doing with that, or if I'm just bringing all of it to the scene. I have no idea.
I think both.
Yeah. So.
But she elicits that in the audience. I also love the moments where they were singing.
Oh my God, yeah.
So and the polarity between the two of them, we have this pious nun.
Yeah,
And we
highly
have this-
educated, proper
Thank you.
classics, all that other stuff.
And then we
The
have
body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so they were clearly passing off who gets to choose the song, and Sister Monica Joan says, "Well, I want to do one of the
one you
ones
taught
that you taught me." And I was here's what I was thinking: what do you do with a drunken sailor? I was thinking of one of those or the college fight songs that of course this is Britain, so obviously they're not going to be singing
Yeah.
college fight songs. But I was thinking it was going to be something much less appropriate than it was, and it was "You Are My Sunshine," which is a sweet little song. And I was surprised Monica Joan didn't know that one.
Yeah, well, and again, it's in sharp contrast to what we normally hear the sisters singing. So,
Yes, indeed.
yeah, okay, so let's get to the point where we actually reveal. We have her taking off the eye patch. We're putting the glasses on.
Oh, the Mr. Magoo
I was
glasses.
not ready for that part of it, just because it just with the one lens, it looked like the one lens was just such a different magnification than the other for the cataract eye, or no longer cataract eye. And it just made me laugh like crazy.
It's a miracle.
But that part, yeah, as I'm laughing, then I start tearing up, because she's talking about how a miracle, and what a worthy of the
Worthy
word.
of the name.
Worthy of the name. The word.
Yeah, which just made me, I was having those, like the goofy smile with the tears,
Right.
which, one of my favorite emotions, laughy crying.
Yeah.
It was brilliant.
And then at the end, when you see her and she's like, got her hands clasped together and everything. And again, Heidi Thomas has said this, I write these scenes, and I keep writing these scenes because she delivers every time. I can't not write them. And
she did such a brilliant job in this
and
scene.
Judy's probably said, I don't know why I'm still here.
It's because we like you.
I know.
A lot.
But then, because this episode to me just really demonstrated that. It's like, for me anyway, she just always, even when she's angry, like when she would... She had couldn't find a magnifying glass, and she went off on Fred and everything like that. And she gets all upset with people and stuff like that. It's just full and rich, and I just really enjoy her.
And let's talk about the fact that all you could see was her face and one eye.
Yeah, for the most part.
In several of those scenes, and she was still just really bringing us in. Could not move her head.
Couldn't use her instrument,
at all.
so to speak.
Exactly, and still, I was just captivated by her.
Which made, go ahead.
Yeah, so we need to talk about, I chose a life of service and study, and for me, marriage would have been a jail. Mrs. Valentine lost her, Maudie, thank you, lost her son in the war. Yeah. They talk about her, Sister Monica Joan's boyfriends, Jason and Odysseus.
Local boys. Local boys.
My gosh, I loved it.
Oh my God, I was just.
Hilarious.
That's right. I'm going. I love the humor in this, and it didn't barely interrupted the scene. It just boom. Let's get this in there, but laughing like crazy at it. Yeah, it was great stuff. Yeah. And it didn't ruin the emotion at all.
No, exactly.
Yeah, because then they went into that whole thing about the service, and I was just. And I love the way she said that. I wanted to pursue them both, and marriage would have been a prison. Yeah. And then they carried it through with when she's talking to Sheila. You've been on both sides.
Yes.
Which is better.
Yeah.
And have Sheila, with her knowledge and experience, to say what she said was just, neither. And we don't choose our path; it's chosen for us. Yeah. They choose us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the even at that age, meaning Monica Jones, even at her age, she's to still think about that and question it, and all because this woman who was loud and just obnoxious and is coming there, but she saw the family and the love and the support of a nuclear family, so to speak. And did I make the right choice? Exactly.
Did I
she's still
path not
even at that age,
taken.
and even exactly.
A road not taken.
That was great. Now, okay, we have to talk about the reading of the book.
Oh yeah, we do.
So Sheila starts to read, what was she reading? Keats, an Ode to an Urn? On an Urn, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then Winifred's reading later. She's reading some classic, and Maudie's decided to say, "What the hell are you reading?
What is this drivel you're reading? You need to be reading a real story, like Caribbean Kisses or Doctor's Delight.
Yeah.
Surely you must know of them."
Yeah, because everybody has. I mean, they are the page turner of the day.
Yes,
of course
they are.
Everybody passes around. So I want to know that book club, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Oh my God, that was great.
So then in the end, Sister Winifred is reading from Caribbean Kisses.
Yeah, and all the side eyes and look to like, should we be reading this? That was just great
Part
stuff.
of life.
Yeah, that was great stuff. And they didn't really say much about it. They just did it.
No, but he had fire in his loins.
Yeah, and just
or the burning in his loins. I'm not sure.
It was just so full.
There was heat somewhere.
Yeah, and then Sheila, oh, what's this? She gets the book, and Monica Jones says, oh, it's a gift,
souvenir,
which is great. But the way she said it was a gift from a friend, and the whole ending with Maudie, and they're talking about, when you first met you, I hated calling
you sister because it was too formal. But now it feels like the most natural thing in the world because you are like a sister to me.
Yeah, and you are as well. Yeah, it's like you get to see that full relationship develop, and just amazing. Very great writing.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was.
And then to cap it off with all the humor, especially with at the end there with Sheila, I'll save it for the maternity ward.
Yeah,
but I'll skim through it
but
make sure it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And we just got done asking her if she'd made the right choice.
And that's actually the tweet that I excuse me, that I retweeted, which was, is it getting hot in here or is it Caribbean kisses? BBC One tweeted it and I retweeted it. It was just, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, this one
Brilliant.
had so much
So
humor,
funny.
so
Yeah.
much poignancy. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
All right, we're already we are out of time.
Are we?
Yeah, we do.
Look at
We are
that.
out of time. What were your last thoughts? Anything? What did we miss, or is there anything else you want to add?
Pearl's coat. I know you didn't see it. Pearl was wearing a plaid coat when they came into town from Ireland. Pearl is Mrs. Davidson.
Yeah, no, I
sorry.
got that part. I'm just trying to remember the
She was
coat.
wearing a plaid coat, like a rustin tan coat, which was quite fetching.
Oh, really?
Yes. I really liked it.
Okay.
It made me want to go put on my plaid coat.
And I'm sure if Courtney
If Courtney were here, she would have talked to it. I'm sure she would have mentioned it.
Yeah, exactly.
We have 2 episodes left.
That's it.
I don't like it. I'm not okay about
They're
that.
gonna bring it though next week. So we had the moment with Monica Joan saying, "I would gladly give my life if the Lord would save hers." So, and that's gonna kill me. I mean, it killed me, and then just looking at that at the coming up. Yeah.
That's going to be hard. That's going to be hard. And we don't know if there's a Heidi gate, if Heidi's lying to us.
She's lying?
Yeah.
She's throwing
There may be Heidi gate
red
going
herring
on.
out there for
Could
us?
be.
All right.
It'd be clever of her to do so. And
Yeah, don't think everybody would go, "What you said?
you promised
The
us.
Twitter storm that would have. Oh my God.
Oh my
It'd go
goodness.
crazy.
All right, just
All right, any last thoughts or
check
any
on here on
any
Twitter to see if
shout-outs or
anybody else
anything?
has said. No, we got all that.
Okay.
Oh, you people know who you are.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. And again, I'm just gonna say, if you're so inclined, we would love an iTunes review.
Oh.
Preferably a 5-star one. You can find me on Twitter at Tamara Berg, Instagram Tamara A. Berg, and my website is tamaracentral.com.
Yeah, you can find me on the dark web, or you can try to find me on the dark web. I don't think that's
heavens
going to
no,
happen, but
no.
good luck to that. All right, everybody.
Courtney
Thanks
will
again.
be back with us next
She
week.
will be back. We'll look forward to it, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time, too.
Thanks, everybody.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Cup of tea.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.